Hello to all you lovers out there.
Hola.
It is Juan and G.
I'm Juan.
And I'm G. And we are here with our August Bachelor of the Month, Alonzo Watson. Let's give a round of applause. Now you may know this guy from the hit web series Free Fall. What's your character's name in Free Fall?
My character's name is Tony.
The sexy Tony, with a little less beard this time. So we're going to start this interview off a little bit differently.
Alright, so I was doing my research on you, and I came across this, and I want to read this. These are your words.
Okay.
Don't get me wrong, I'm truly thankful for all of my blessings and success. An awesome job, rising success as an actor, a dope car, a wonderful home, transitioning into my dream career, great friends, loving supportive family, good health. But the one thing I want so badly is so hard to attain. You remember writing that?
I do remember writing that.
Alright, so we want to take some time to kind of go through this statement, because this statement says a whole lot.
A whole lot of layers to that.
A whole lot of layers. Okay, so let's go through it.
Okay.
Awesome job. What do you do for a living?
Right now, I'm actually a training specialist for a dental insurance company. So I kind of work with HR, and I do all of the training for the new hires. I take them through a 4-week rigorous training period where I'm teaching them, you know, the A to Z's of the job and everything like that, making sure that they're in compliance with all of the everything, really. And also, I'm a psychotherapist.
Oh,
So,
Yeah, aren't you in school?
I just finished school. I finished all of my coursework. So yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I finished all of my coursework, so I'm finishing up my master's degree in clinical psychology. So the requirement is now that I actually complete a practicum. So I'm doing 600 hours at the Road to Recovery. So it's a behavioral mental clinic in Sandy Springs.
awesome.
Wow.
With the goal to become what?
Psychologist.
Okay.
So you already know what you're getting into if you date this guy.
So you like analyzing everything, analyzing folks' behaviors, and diagnosing people you come in contact with, maybe on a romantic level.
I can be analytical, but I've mastered the ability to turn it off. Because when I meet somebody, when I meet friends, and when I meet, you know, individuals that could potentially, you know, lead to more, I don't want to analyze them and kind of put them in a box and say, okay, you know, you're this type. I don't want to stereotype them. I want them to prove to me who they are without any type of preconceived notions on my part.
Awesome. I mean, I've never heard a psychologist or a psychology major do that. Normally they're like, yep, I can read you from...
Right, and you know, seems like most psychologists are single. Like most marriage counselors and stuff, they're single. So, like, how does that? Or do you even fit? Because obviously, before you went to school for it, you had a passion for it. So you probably was always analyzing relationships and people all of your life. So, how do you feel like that plays into your dating?
I think it plays into my dating. Just really, I'm just a regular everyday guy.
What does that really? What does that really mean? What is regular everyday?
What it means is that I don't define myself based off of the things that I've achieved or attained. You know, I'm just a regular person. I don't want people to look at me and compare me, you know, to themselves and say, oh, you know, you're too good because, you know, you have multiple degrees. You're too good because you drive this car. You're too good because you dress this way or you look this way or whatever the case is. I want people to really respect me and love me for who I am, not what I have.
So do you feel like in dating, because, you know, I've heard a lot of stories about dating in Atlanta, dating in Atlanta. But do you feel like in dating you meet a lot of people that have those type of preconceived notions of you? Like, okay, this guy's a stand-up guy. He has a great job, great car. He's handsome.
Degrees.
He's an actor. He has degrees. Do you feel like they kind of might be intimidated like by that? Or do you feel like they have to? You're expecting them to bring the same thing to the table?
That's funny you kind of put that out there, because I know that's been something that me and my friends, we kind of talked about, that is really what I feel the issue is as to why I'm single, because I feel like
I got that on. Why are you single?
I mean, I could be wrong, but I really feel like in some way, shape, or form, individuals tend to be intimidated, and I think that a lot of times the type of guys that I like, they really sort of, it seems like they look for someone who they can take care of, but they look for somebody who need them.
So you like daddies?
Huh? I don't really like daddies,
but they have a dad complex. Like they need to be the.
Because I mean, I'm in a place where I'm good. I'm fine. I don't need you. I want you. And I want to be able to partner with somebody so we can invest, in life and have a good time and enjoy life together. But I'm fine by myself, and I think that can be intimidating to people, where it's just like, okay, you know what, he doesn't really need me. He's good without me.
Well, let me ask you this, because I find it interesting that you typically attract that same type of guy that wants to be the one that's taking care of you. Why do you think you attract that kind of guy? Why? Yeah, that needs to be looked into.
Yeah.
Like, why do you think you attract that? Because I find that what's interesting is I think I'm the type of person that I think I'm probably that type of person. Like, if somebody probably met me, and I guess Juan can speak to that when he first met me. Like, I wouldn't say that I'm the type of just want to take care of you, but it's very natural to me to want to
be in control.
And it can be a controlling thing. It could be, and it probably is.
It is.
Right. But I could be that kind of person, and I kept attracting that, and then I would get frustrated, or when I think that you're not bringing enough to the table now, although I've always do all these type of things, but I'm like, well, why am I keep attracting that? Because obviously it's something in me that I like that, but then when it's like it gets to be too much, then I have a problem with it. So I think it's interesting that you always attract that type.
Yeah, and I think you hit the hammer right on the nail when you said the controlling thing. It's like typically the type of individuals that I end up attracting, or I'm attracting to, are typically controlling.
And why do you think that is, though? What are you putting out that they're receiving?
You like to be controlled?
No, it's not that I like to be controlled. I'm the type of person that I really like a challenge. I like a challenge. I'm not necessarily the submissive type. So I think that kind of plays a big part too, where the clash is. I can be passive aggressive, but. So
do you find it challenging to try? Do you find it a challenge when you take on the challenge to try and break them of the daddy syndrome, is what we're going to call it? Is that what because obviously you're attracting them and you're entertaining it on some level. So is that the challenge to look, no, I'm gonna show you that I'm independent and I don't need you.
Because you're going to be taking care of me now. I can take care of my own.
Right. And I don't really like that. I don't like that.
Is that the challenge, though? Since you like challenges.
Right.
Or could it be?
It might be subconsciously, but I always go in a situation where I really don't want to change a person, because at this stage in our life, it's really hard to change a person.
And how old are you, since you said this stage in your life?
I'm 36.
36. Okay.
I'm 36. And the old saying goes, you can't teach a dog new tricks, the old dog new tricks. So that would be really, you don't believe it?
I don't believe that either.
Well, I mean,
they just have to want to change.
They have to want to change, and I think that is kind of paramount to the actual change itself. The person has to want to do it. You can't want it for that person. They have to want it for themselves.
Absolutely.
And I've experienced that before, but when a person kind of, tells me that they're interested in change, or that's what they want to do, but there's no action with their words, then I kind of question whether or not that person really is in it, the relationship for the better of us,
I just started working on an article for Love Works, the blog. Talk is cheap.
Talk is
without
very cheap.
action behind that to support that talk that's coming out of your mouth.
Right.
And on that note, we're going to take a quick break.
Freshen this cocktail.
And when we come back with Alonzo, we are going to get into the rising success as an actor. I'm really, really interested in learning more about that.
All right.
And then we're going to get into why it's so hard for you to get the things that you want so badly. That's the
although
meat
we're
potatoes of
touching
it.
on all those things, and I'm writing down my notes.
All right, so we'll be right back. We are back here with our August Bachelor of the Month, Alonzo Watson. And before we went to the break, I told you we were going to come back and talk about your rising success as an actor.
Right.
So talk to us about acting. What made you want to pursue acting to begin with?
I've always been, a kid that was very theatrical. I kind of was eclectic growing up. I was into acting, drawing, music, and everything. And I started really young, like when I was in elementary school, being Santa Claus in the school play in 5th grade.
So you always had that beard.
That was my inspiration for the beard. Okay. Yeah, but I had the lead role when I was in school, and I felt like I was a natural. I just loved it. I loved the opportunity to kind of portray somebody that I wasn't, and it kind of went from elementary school, middle school, same thing. High school, I was in the drama society in high school. In college, I was in the drama society there as well.
You must really be old. You call them societies.
I know.
I'm a society.
They clubs, man.
But it's always been something
Older
that's
country.
older country. It's always been something that's been in me. Always been something that I enjoyed to do. It was more so of a hobby. I loved it. I love being on stage. I got my first big break in South Florida. I actually did an independent film where I won over a lead role, a character in this independent film where I kind of played the bad guy again. So I kind of, have this reputation now of playing bad boys.
Is that opposite of who you are in real life?
It's really opposite of who I am in real life, and I
So
try.
where do you draw inspiration from to play those bad boys?
I know it has to come from
Because
real life
art
experience.
imitates life, and so to be in that moment, you have to draw inspiration from somewhere or some experience.
Right. And I agree with that, but I think we all have come in contact with a bad boy, or we know someone who is a bad boy, even if it's someone on television or whatever the case is. And, I kind of draw a lot of my inspiration from different characters that I've seen on different shows, people who I've been involved with that might have hurt me or disappointed me or whatever the case is. And just that whole stereotypical bad boy that we know. I mean, we all know what the characteristics are of a bad boy.
Right.
So you find yourself attracted to bad boys?
Absolutely not.
Well, you just said that the people that you dated
They must
that have
revealed
hurt you
themselves as bad boys later.
that were bad boys.
That was the past.
So you used to be attracted to bad boys.
I used to be attracted to bad boys when I was younger, but now that I've come into myself, come into my own, and I'm career oriented, I've achieved a lot. Bad boys is not what I need in my life.
So what?
Go ahead on.
No, I was just going to ask you since you said you have a type, because I heard you say that earlier about having a type. I want to ask, what is your type?
Okay. I like masculine men. I don't like hyper masculine men.
Okay.
I just like the everyday, average, regular guy.
Right.
I understand that sometimes there might be a slight bit of femininity, and I think that kind of comes in play like when folks are around their friends and stuff like that. Yeah. And the only reason why I'm saying this is because a lot of times you'll get people to say, I don't want nobody who's feminine. I don't want nobody who has any portrayal of anything that's less than masculine. If they're around their friends, I want them to be the same way that they are when they're around me. But that's not realistic, because when you're around your friends, you kind of let down your hair a little bit, you kind of open, and that's fine. That's fine.
Are you in touch with your feminine side?
I am in touch with my feminine side.
And how does that manifest itself?
It manifests itself because I am who I am. I don't consider myself a feminine guy. I don't believe in acting feminine and acting masculine, because again, if you look at that term acting, you're portraying something that you really aren't, or whatever the case is. So I'm not acting any kind. Right, exactly. I'm just me.
But you have feminine and masculine ways about you.
I think we all have feminine, masculine ways about
I'm
us.
not asking about everybody. I'm asking about you.
Well, I'm calling.
Hello, somebody.
Don't speak for me. 'Cause I'm all masculine. You don't see all this masculinity right here? No, I'm just playing. But
Do you cry
I cry.
in front of people?
I cry in front of people. I'm very comfortable with myself emotionally. If I'm feeling a certain kind of way, I will cry. I don't keep things bottled up to the point where I don't want people to see, how I feel. I actually wear my emotions on my sleeve.
Really?
And that's something that I'm really trying to work on. because
Why?
Because I a lot of times I don't.
Like, why is that something you want to change about yourself?
I just don't want to be that type of person with that's that emotional like that. You know what I mean? Wearing it on my sleeves just basically means that a person will always know how you're feeling and what you're thinking and what direction you're gonna go in or whatever the case is. And I really
You don't want to be that predictable?
don't want to be that predictable.
Why not? So I would. To me, it's like we're speaking not with just anyone on the street, close people to you.
Right.
Why wouldn't you want them to know what you're feeling or be able to easily read that?
Because I simply put, I want to be in control with who I allow that type of power over me. If I don't really know you like that or whatever the case is, and we haven't really invested time getting to know each other, if we're not like that, then I don't really want to give you that type of power over me when you know that you've really affected me in that way. I don't think that you deserve that. If you're not somebody that, again, that we've spent time, we've gotten to know each other, we have history together, whatever, you don't really deserve that. To be able to have that power over me.
Well, let me ask you this then: why do you consider the way you show your emotions and your vulnerability? Why do you consider that somebody else's power? Why isn't that your power?
Question.
That's good. Look, I'm the psychopath.
Cheers to that.
Because I think that it's a very powerful thing to be able to be so open. Because as a psychotherapist, as men, as black men, and then throw gay on top of that, we try to hide our emotions so much. So I think it's very. Maybe you should look at it this way. It's very powerful to be able to be so open with somebody and to have your emotions and wear them on your sleeve.
Right.
Like I think that's a great. Like I'm not even able to do that so easily, and so for you to want to shut that off from yourself, I think would be a huge step backwards.
I think it just requires a level of discernment,
Right.
on your part for because I think it's amazing that you are quote unquote in touch with your feminine side, and we attribute feminine with being emotional and open and crying and things of that nature. I think there is power in that, but just realizing when someone's trying to use you,
Take advantage of
and
it.
take advantage of
Thank
that.
you.
But I would wish that you wouldn't try to, which it has nothing to really do with me, but I feel like people need to feel that type of emotion, even if it's from someone else, because it kind of softens other people. And I think when we become more soft and mushy and vulnerable, the world is a better place.
Sometimes people can try to take advantage of it.
Well, they can, and that's where the discernment comes in.
That's where the discernment
you know what I'm
comes
saying?
in.
But the overall, it's just, to me, because I'm the same way.
Right.
So that's why I'm saying.
Right. Well, like you said, it's about discerning, that individual who you can allow to kind of, have that type of effect over
Let you in
and when I said that I'm trying to control it, I more so mean that, I don't want to be like that in general. I don't want that to be the stigma behind who Alonzo is.
Right.
Alonzo's this very emotional person, and whatever the case is.
Just so drama.
And I'm not, even though I'm an actor, I keep, the drama separate. I try to stay as far away from drama as possible. I want my life to be as simplistic as I can make it, but I don't want any and everybody to have that type of effect over my life,
Right.
And it doesn't necessarily have to do with just, people that I'm in a relationship with, friends, associates, things of that nature. There's so many times when I always talk about, how people can be rude, how people can, not be friendly. I speak to you in the morning and I say, hey, good morning, and you don't speak to me.
Right.
I need to be able to brush that off my shoulder and say, you know what, they didn't speak, whatever.
And not be
so.
you know what? That's more about not taking things personally.
Yeah.
It's like, don't take, that's just them.
Right.
So I don't know if that's so much like wearing emotions on your sleeve, though. That's like, why am I? That shouldn't affect me like that. Like,
well, it's still
so that is having the control over.
It's still right. It's
You're
still
letting that person's actions control your emotion.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
So and that in like the big umbrella, I'm trying to really control, that. you know, not letting things kind of get to me, because I think that I'm a nice guy. You know, I'll give the person the shirt off my back if they need it. You know, so the thing is if it doesn't reciprocate, you know, where that person is equally as polite or nice or whatever the case is, I kind of get offended.
Right.
Because I'm a nice guy.
Right.
You know, I'm not the type of person that could just be like, you know what, you're an ass, I'm nice, but you know what, whatever. It kind of bothers me a little bit, and you know what, and that is something that I'm proud of, to be able to be able to admit that I'm bothered.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times people will be like, you know what, whatever, it is what it is. You know what I mean? I don't care. I care.
I wish I could be like that too.
It's so interesting because, what?
The dog, the damn dog.
Can you shut her up, please? It's interesting that you say that because it's funny that, you know, we all have perceptions of people. Like, I've seen you out several times, and while we haven't had a lengthy dialogue like this, I had this picture in my mind. I never would have picked you as someone who wears their emotions on their sleeves or really get affected by someone, you know, not saying. So it's just interesting to really peel back those layers and get to know someone and not just take the perception we have of them as the law. You know what I'm saying? Right. And give people a chance.
Right.
Yeah, so on that note, because this dog is really distracting, so we're gonna go beat the dog. We're not gonna beat the dog, please, Peter. Don't call us. What I was gonna say was, because I have the impression of Larry that I've always thought that you were a very, very nice guy. I'm sorry, Alonzo. I've always had the impression about why
He keeps calling him Larry. Okay.
Alonzo, but that he was a very nice guy. So that's gonna take us into my next question is gonna be when we get back. So let's take a break. Shut the dog up, and we're gonna get some more with Alonzo.
We'll be back.